Just trying to see if the mic works for you guys. This is a lot simpler for me as well, so let me know if it works. Drop into the comments and just help me out here a bit. Let me know if you can hear me clearly. It's a new mic, so I'm trying to see if I can make my audio a lot better for you guys. Just drop into the comments and just message me if you guys are, if you can hear it clearer. I know it's a Sunday evening, but we got some news that we should speak about. It's something that we've been saying since a while now. So, we're still going to start at about 7:30, so just keep this rolling for a bit. I mean, it is a Sunday evening. I know pretty much everyone's going to be busy, but give it a shot. Let's see what happens. Yeah, I'm going to test the audio to figure out if things are working well. So that's that. Just drop into the comment and let me know if the audio works fine. That's primarily. Hi Anika, how's it going? I'm not sure if you can hear me clearly though. Do let me know if you can, that'll be pretty cool though. Right, so we should start in a few minutes, but let's just go over some pretty normal stuff with everyone. Crazy shit happened. Trump did extend, right? So that's there. Let's see what goes on. Yeah. How's your day? My day's been pretty good, man. I mean, I'm in Southeast Asia right now, so I'm in Bali. Everything's pretty chill here. We had a pretty bad rainy day the other day, but where it's a lot better today. So yeah, it's pretty sunny. So most likely going to head to the beach in the evening, but that's that. I'm going to be heading to Singapore as well in a week or two. I don't really want to head there, so yeah. I like Bali. I don't want to get out of here. So, baby, let's see. I mean, it's nice. Where are you guys from? What situation or what part of the world are you guys in? Put that into the comments also. Hi, guys. So yeah, that's the scene as of now. I mean, it looks. One of the few things that we want to talk about today is the Trump comments. Hi, Sharik. How's it going? Good. Nice to see the same guys coming back in again, right? I mean, that's kind of better. And so, what is Mr. Guy saying? What religion are you, bro? My religion is capitalism. That's what I'll tell you. I don't go to no temples, no churches, nothing. The stock market is my religion. I stick to that. That being said, okay, so guys, before we begin, just make sure you guys subscribe. So I pretty much try doing this every weekdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, so you guys can then tune in. That makes more sense. Yeah, Sharik, good answer. Yeah, that's true, man. I mean, we're all here for money, right? I mean, we could be from whatever religion, whatever this, we just want to make our lives better. So why not? Yeah. So some crazy shit happened in the past few hours. Trump decided to extend the tariffs. I think Sharik would also know we spoke about that literally 48 hours back when we said that, we don't really believe all of this is going to stick till June 1st, right? And then we were like, doesn't seem the case that you're going to be seeing an entire tariff that was supposed to come on July 9th, now come on June 1st, and then just wreak havoc in the markets because two people were not able to get along. So news comes in, this is what we do every day. So this is what the EU chief says, good call with the President of the United States. The EU and the US share the world's most consequential and close trade relationship. And Europe is ready to advance talks swiftly and decisively. To reach a good deal, we would need time until July 9th. Now here's the story, right? Everybody knew that. Who did? Right? That's the reason why July 9th was there. But this was just Trump maybe telling them that, hey, listen, come to the table and talk. But the market fell 2%, right? On Friday. It closed 1% lower, but it fell about 2%. Now, if that was not your reason to buy, because now what you're realizing is that even the market's realizing this to some extent, that there is a lot of noise around Trump and his tweets. If you just take a step back and start looking at it from a businessman's perspective, which means he comes in with a hammer on the table and says, okay, I need to be able to get in and get this trade deal done faster than what I believe. And because it gets done that way, you're able to then realize that he's getting his side of the bargain done, right? Just because the European Union is saying, oh, we're going to put retaliatory tariffs, we're going to do X, Y, and Z in order to screw America. They're friends at the end of the day. These guys are going to sort things out. It's not like the Chinese and the Americans. To that matter of fact, here's a simple thing. Think of this. This is, I think, what we said, right? Last time as well. I mean, literally 2 days back. I was saying this literally 2 days back. The Americans and the Chinese spoke and came to a conclusion. Are you really telling me that the Europeans and the Americans are not going to come to a conclusion? Like, that is just beyond my understanding as to how is that even possible, right? It's just humanly impossible for me to believe that it's like saying United Kingdom and America cannot come to a resolution together, but Russia and America are able to solve things out. So, I mean, it's time for people to start realizing that all of those headlines and everything around it is not really what you're supposed to be focusing on. That's what we're trying to separate here. It's just simpler, right? It's just pretty much simpler to start thinking in terms of how do I make my money in times of volatility? Because volatility is the gift. Now, if you don't use that gift wisely, you're not going to make money. You're just going to go ahead and be like, oh, I'm scared, I'm not going to buy. He's going to put tariffs, the world's going to end. Oh, the weekend passed and Memorial Day, holiday tomorrow. How do I buy stocks now because the tariffs are no more there? But it's over. What are you going to do? Tuesday morning, you're gapped up. As of now, what I can see, the NASDAQ currently is up 1% from Friday's close. It's up almost 212 points. It's 21,109 on the NASDAQ, right? You're pretty much going to come in, and there's going to be more people coming in and buying at that. We're going to be up 1.5%. So here's the story. On the bad news, we dropped 1% and lower. On the good news, we're back up 1%, and we're back to square one, right? But this is what I'm trying to tell you. When you go back to square one, you're going to go higher now, because now more people are going to come in and say, oh, maybe things are getting better. Okay, so it's time to buy. Anyways, that's what we've been saying. It's 7:30, so we're going to be starting the show. This is the show, though. I mean, we pretty much started it. Let me just get to a few questions so we're on the same page. Sherik says he wants to be in the 90-day window now, and we knew what was exactly going to happen. They just wanted to show that the EU are willing to negotiate, and that gives them a message to the others. Exactly. I mean, whole and soul, that's what I'm saying, right? I mean, he wanted two people to talk on the table. One of them kept their mouth shut. He decided, if you're keeping your mouth shut, I'm going to punch you in the face, right? Hi, Annika, I can still there. Nice to see you. So that's pretty much what he did. Now, I have seen some amount of news, right? We'll go through that over this live session. Like, NVIDIA is now working on a chip that is pretty much made for China. It is going to be $6,300 cheaper than the one that they're making in America, which they were earlier selling, right? So NVIDIA is a bull right now. NVIDIA is going to go higher. You know what's going to happen? Tim Cook is going to speak to Donald Trump. They're going to sort their shit out. And once they sort their shit out, they're pretty much going to get all of these people. So Tim Cook, Donald Trump sit together on a table, decide, have lunch at the Trump this thing. He says, you know what, all the semiconductor chips, let's work together on building it more. Let's build it better. Apple's going to come into that, and Apple's going to be like, okay, can you please remove the tariffs that you were saying that you were going to be putting? Can you not say it? Okay, great, not say it. Apple's going to go to $220 and higher, right? So you're currently getting Apple at a 33% discount from its all-time high. I do agree to one thing, right? Apple might be slow to the AI race. But before I make the next point, just remember to go ahead and answer the poll, because this poll result is what I'm going to try figuring out, right? We've got some votes, and as of now, we're still bullish for the market, right? So go ahead and answer the poll. Make sure you guys subscribe as well, because we're going to do this every day. So, and make sure you come in every week as well, every day as well, because that's more important. If you don't like, don't comment, that's fine, but just keep coming in here. We're just doing this in order to help people. There's absolutely zilch in what we make, right? Fair enough. So Apple's 33% lower. Everyone's screaming at Apple because they're the slowest when it comes to AI. We're all still using iPhones. We're all still going to be using iPhones for the years to come. All those ChatGPT and all the other AI apps for which you're paying $20, $15, $30 per month goes through Apple. A lot of them pay directly through the App Store. Apple gets a cut out of that. Apple's playing a larger game. They're waiting to make money through this and then figure out how do they go ahead and continue. Let me see if this is better for you guys. Yeah, you can see the coffee machine as well. Anyways, so Apple's trying to figure out how do I make this system work for me, because Apple's not going to make iPhones in America. They're not going to do that. They're going to make that in pretty much, Jesus Christ. Yeah. Apple's going to pretty much make that in Vietnam, India, China, right? Maybe they'll stop their production in China. Maybe they'll reduce it. Maybe they'll put more into Vietnam and India, right? But let's be honest, you're not going to make it in America. You know what he's going to get a deal done? He's going to come out and say, over the next 10 years, I'm going to spend $1 trillion or 1.5 trillion US dollars as Apple. Because Apple has that kind of money in 10 years. There's no reason why. And they're going to start working on semiconductor chips and AI supply chains and all of these things. And now mark my words, this is what I'm saying. Don't hold me to it, but this is my belief. They're going to sort shit out with Apple. And Apple's going to pretty much be there, and they're just going to thrive, because that's what happens. This is how the game is played. Apple was one of the only companies in the first Trump administration to get a reprieve from tariffs. Apple is also the current company that is getting a reprieve from smartphone tariffs. Are you saying he's going to turn around and tell Apple that, hey, you're the biggest producer of iPhones and the biggest seller of iPhones in America, I'm going to tariff you? One. Two, he's going to turn around and say, oh, you know what, now because I've tariffed Apple, I'm going to also tariff Samsung, because that is what I have to do. I can't not do it. So he's going to tariff Samsung as well. Are you saying phones in America are going to go up 25%, 50%, 100% for Apple at least, just so that he could get some tariff money on smartphones? Really? I mean, how many of you guys really think that he's going to come in and be like, you know what, I'm going to tariff Apple 25, I'm going to tariff Samsung 25, I'm going to tariff everybody 25, because smartphones, which is the only way AI spreads as of today to a large extent, is going to be made way more expensive, while we're going to be spending trillions of dollars to make these AI plants in America. I mean, that's like saying, oh, you know what, I have a gold mine, but the price of shovels are more expensive than the price of gold. So I'm not going to go and buy some, not going to mine gold. So that's just really, I mean, I don't really understand that logic, but anyways, let me just get to a few questions. Apple's going to tweak their AI and then they're going to be part of this. Exactly. They're going to do that. I mean, you know what, even if they don't tweak a lot of it, what they're going to be doing is Apple's just going to come out and buy out small companies. Apple has the money. Even if they don't buy companies, companies will come to Apple and be like, dude, well, the only way to spread a demand platform is through Apple, okay? This is my story when I was bullish on Uber as well. I mean, I'm still bullish on Uber. I don't own any Uber, but I was bullish at about $65, $70. Think of this. The world's largest demand aggregator for whenever any of us want to book a taxi is Uber, right? We all have our local companies that come in and do all this stuff. Like in Southeast Asia, we have Grab, all of that, right? In America, we have Uber. Globally, we have a lot of Uber, right? So everyone that wants to book a cab, what's the first thing that comes to their head? Uber. When Tesla said that they're going to take over the world with robo-taxis, right? Tell me one thing, how many of you guys do believe, right? And I am pro Elon Musk. So Elon's going to kill it when it comes to driverless taxis. He's going to kill it when it comes to robo-taxi. But as a consumer, I understand one thing, right? Let me just get this. Isaac, greetings from Dallas. Greetings to you too, brother. Hope you're enjoying your Sunday evening. Coming back to the story, right? It is perfectly impossible for me to believe that everybody who wants to get from point A to point B at the quickest possible way and at the cheapest price is now going to be like, you know what? In order to save the environment, I'm going to wait for that Tesla car, which might be 15 minutes away from me, just so I can go 7 minutes away. And maybe even more expensive, because you're going to have less amount of Teslas than the number of Ubers available, at least in the starting few years and maybe for years to come. And secondly, you're also going to come out and be like, oh, I need to wait 15 minutes for this car to come to take me from point A to point B. I need to pay more as well. And then Tesla has its own app as well, which I need to now download and play with. Whereas, how simple would it be for Tesla to start putting in all of those companies directly into the Uber platform? You already get that demand. You're already able to make all these companies come together. And you are going to get a lot of companies that come together in order. Like I know in Dubai, WeRide, Waymo, all of these guys work through Uber, right? Uber's been working in Austin. Uber's been working in America, in California as well. So Tesla is going to be a force to reckon with. I completely agree with that. But it's not going to kill Uber's lunch. There's still going to be people that use Uber. And there's still going to be a large portion of people that continue using Uber. Right? It's not fair. That's the same story with Apple. Apple's not going to turn around and be like, oh, you know what? What I'm trying to do here is I'm going to let everybody run the AI race and I'm just going to sit and think about it and I don't know what will happen and I'll just try making my 20% on the App Store. No, that's not going to happen. That's not how Apple works. They might be slow. I don't deny that, which is why their share price is down 35% from the all-time highs. But tell me one thing, if you honestly do believe that Apple is going to be down 40% while the market is 5% away from its all-time high, do you honestly believe that in the next 5 years to come, Apple's going to get worse as a company or Apple's going to do better as a company, right? How many of you guys honestly believe that Apple would be worse off than Samsung, Android, all the other companies that are available, right? So it's, to my mind, being down 33% for Apple on these kind of days is just, for me, it's like, wow. Like I would genuinely be a buyer if prices come in lower and lower, like, in all honesty. If I could get something on Apple which is just way too lower than most people can imagine, just because they believe, oh, there's going to be a 25% tariff. No, there's not going to be. If the EU tariffs are off in 2 nights, literally 2 nights, 48 hours, you literally slept over the weekend and the EU called and the EU said, you know what, stop this. And Trump was like, okay, if you guys say so, right? This is Trump's words, right? I received a call requesting an extension on June 1st deadline on the 50% tariff with respect to trade and the European Union. I agreed to the extension. It was my privilege to do so. Guys, he wants the limelight. If you give it to him, he will extend your tariffs. That's the game of town. The Commission President said that talks will begin rapidly. Thank you for your attention to this matter, right? Everybody goes to sleep on Sunday night knowing that on Friday night, things have stayed the way it was on Thursday. So we're back to square one, but the markets are going to go higher, right? As of now, you're looking at 250 points up on the NASDAQ. That's 1.2%. How many people would have sold on Friday thinking, oh my God, the tariff man is back, tariffs are back, we're all going to get screwed, it's over, we're back to this number, and now tariffs are going to come in on June 1st. But mind you, it's easy for me to sit here and talk about it today once the news is out. If these tariffs were not extended and we had them on June 1st, markets would have crashed. Literally crashed, because any other country could also now be tariffed and brought down to levels of 50% within a week, a day, or a few hours. You don't need to wait for that 90 days. Now what you know is whatever the hell happens, only deals are going to happen for the 90 days, and at the 90th day, if no deal happens, there'll be a tariff rate. But my belief, Japan, India, China, European Union, Vietnam, these deals are going to happen. All of these countries are going to go through and have a deal, right? Anyways, make sure to subscribe and comment, guys. Ask me any of your questions that you want, and then I'll be able to go ahead and answer any of them. It's a Sunday night, so we don't want to keep this too long, but the other time it's fun, we'll keep going. This is fascinating, right? There's a new prospectus in the bill. That's the one big beautiful bill, which is about some 20 million effort to reverse the erosion of democratic support among young men. It's codenamed SAM, short for Speaking with American Men. I have zero clue what this means, but it apparently is a $20 million effort in which they're going to be buying advertisements in video games, among other things. I have zero idea what makes sense. Anyways, this is something that I tweeted out saying, Trump extends EU tariffs to July 9th. Basically, nothing changed from where we were a few days back. We're all just back to square one, but markets will go higher than just square one. That's what's going to happen. That's my bet, right? Don't hold me to it. I make money this way. That's what it is. Yeah, there you go. Let's just try seeing. So apparently the big beautiful bill is going to be tough for these guys to pass, because Senator Mike Johnson did come in and say that there are a few, it's going to be tougher to pass it in the Senate than in the House. So watch out for it. My belief, they still have majority. Eventually people will come in line and Republicans will vote for it and it will go through. Trump will sign it before Independence Day. And we're all going to be okay. These are just things to worry about in the first few weeks, but don't waste your time over it. It's better if you don't worry, because if everybody's worrying about it, you shouldn't be worrying about it, right? Another thing that happened over the weekend was Elon did come out and say that now he's going to be spending more time in Tesla, maybe like 24/7 is what he's going to be spending. So Tesla is going to start doing well. Tesla did have some hiccups when it came to its AI softwares, as well as XAI had some issues, so he's going to work on clearing that. If there is monumental news where he starts saying that, hey, listen, my work at the White House is over, and he did say that I'm going to now start spending 24/7. If that starts happening, Tesla stock is going to start recovering again. And it's already recovered a lot, but it's going to start moving higher and higher. Because as a concept, Elon coming back to work is more than enough for the stock price to go up. You don't need them to keep coming out with new technology and anything else, right? Let's go, let's see what's next. Said she had a call with Trump. Okay, cool, great. I don't know what they're trying to do with those prescription drug prices. I'm not sure if any of that's happening. Like, apparently the price of prescription drugs is $67 in France, while the same thing is $798 in the United States. I don't know. I mean, it's just mind-boggling at some times for me to figure that out. One of the companies that I do follow is a company called Lemonade. They do some car insurance stuff. What's fascinating for me is that this company is now moving to Canada, because they had a trademark. So I go through some of these things where I'm able to look at some of these patents and figure out whether these companies are going to increase their base by not just being in America, but in neighboring countries of North America as well. So Lemonade did get a insurance clearance as well as a trademark and patent in Canada. So I'm guessing that's going to be the next thing that's going to happen for this company. And if that is the case, it's going to be pretty cool. All right. So I own some Lemonade, a bit. It's about maybe 12% of my book. That's not a bit, actually. It's a lot. But yeah, I'm betting on the fact that insurance as an industry is going to be taken by storm when it comes to AI. So one of the toughest things in the world was to be an actuarial. You required to be like really smart and probabilities, and you needed all of these kind of other things that are related to math. A lot of AI is going to be able to clear that out, and eventually you're going to be able to see AI embedding itself into insurance faster than most other places, my bet. And if that does happen, you're now looking at a scenario where companies like Lemonade, or even any of these companies that decide to now use AI, would now be able to give cheaper prices, would now be able to give better telematic technologies, and because of which you could now have companies that are smaller today, but later on could now move into way better AI empowered insurance companies, because that's important. Keep that in mind, right? One of the things that I did see was Ryan Peterson at Flexport. He came out and said that the bookings that they've seen for container ships from China to America, they've crossed what they were even during the 2022 highs and 2020 highs. Now, I do understand, take all of that with a pinch of salt, because all of this is coming around the fact saying that all these shipments were pretty much on a halt, and now this is front loading of shipments because you don't know if these tariffs would stay at 30%. If they come back to 100, what do we do? So let's just buy everything and fill it up. Could be the case, but what's fascinating is that at least there's movement, right? It's not something where things have not happened. Now, that's something to keep in mind, because you don't want to do that. So yeah, it's something that I'm looking at. I'm not. It's something to give me signal. It's something to tell me that if container shipments start increasing and things start improving, it'll be worthwhile to keep looking at this and figuring out, can there be a resurgence in the economy rather than everyone worrying about a recession that's literally everyone's worrying about it and it's not come. Neither is it. Everyone's been saying it's coming since 2022 as well, and none of that's been happening. So we are in some form of a bull market for sure. We did get hit really hard by it. I don't think any of us were expecting for it to be a recovery so soon, but you know what? We trade the market we have, not the market we hope for. So this is what we have, and this is kind of what we look forward to. So I think last call as well, I think Shadik was telling me about Michael Burry and having gone short Nvidia. So that's going to be worth watching, because I'm not sure what's going to happen to Nvidia on Tuesday morning, considering that not only do they have earnings during the week, but they also do have these chips that are being made for China that are a lot cheaper than what they were currently selling, which were earlier there, which were now banned, and now they needed a license, and all this other dance that was happening around Nvidia. But yeah, so it's just something to keep in mind, as in, because I'm not really certain about Nvidia is so far ahead in this game that it would be practically impossible for, if Elon comes out and says that, hey, you know what, I need Nvidia chips. Without that, we're not going to be able to do what we want to do, and everybody else will be doing it faster. While at the same time, he's also coming out and saying, still that I don't make those chips which are as powerful or as good as Nvidia. I will have to keep buying it from them. One of the other things, Oracle's buying $40 billion worth of Nvidia chips. That's something that I read the other day as well. So it's pretty much Nvidia bull market that's going to go on. I might not even be surprised if they get to a $5 trillion number, right? They don't necessarily need to be at just 3 trillion. They could be at 5 as well, right? Let me get this question. You think DeepSeek with Chinese chips would have a lot of impact on the chip or AI market with the US? I think it'll be the way the internet technology companies at the moment are in China and America, where the Chinese have their own systems going on and the Americans have their own systems going on. By that, what I mean to say, China has its own Facebook, its own Google, its own Netflix, its own WeChat kind of scenario. America has its Instagram, Snapchat, Google, all of these, Netflix, where they're not allowed to jump into each other's geographies. So it's kind of, I think it'll be very probable in my head to see a scenario where China would be like, hey, you know what, we're going to stick to our technology. But at the moment, they're not able to create chips as good as NVIDIA or at scale, even if they do try creating something. So DeepSeek, even in order for it to do what it wants to do, would require NVIDIA chips, right? OpenAI, Claude, all these other LLMs that are currently there, including Meta's Llama, they also need NVIDIA chips. So NVIDIA would be a winner irrespective of what happens. Between the China and US strategy, what my belief is in the years to come, the Chinese will use their own LLM and we will use our own LLM in America. The reason being, everyone's still worried about data privacy, security, infringement. None of these things are getting solved by us using Chinese technology or Chinese using American technology. And that's not going to happen according to me. A lot of places they've already started banning DeepSeek. I just don't think the world trusts the Chinese, right? I mean, I'm all for the Chinese and I'm all great, like, everyone live in harmony, but I just don't think people trust Chinese technology that comes out of there, because even if it's 5x better, I'm not really sure if companies, people as well would want to give up all of their data to something like that, right? So I'm not sure if that, there's so much nonsense happening with TikTok in this world that I don't really believe that things like AI, which is like a lot tougher to understand than just a TikTok for average people, things like DeepSeek and all of that, you don't know what happens, right? I mean, you don't want to be in a scenario where you realize like when you're on TikTok, they're able to have all of your data. They're able to have a lot of they're able to go through your mails. They're able to go through a lot of things which necessarily for a reel-based app should not be the case. So I'm not of that opinion that they're going to merge. I do believe they'll just be separate silos in their own world, and they'll just work out their own ways and figure it out, right? So yeah, NVIDIA reportedly prepares mass production of cheaper China-centric Blackwell AI chips. So yeah, I mean, everything just works out, man. You just have to give it some time. That's about it. Take some time, but that's about it. So drop in there's not much news this week, so just drop in any of your questions that you want to ask. We're not going to try keeping this too long because I have shit to do as well. But this one's going to be a shorter version than the one that we do tomorrow, and maybe day after as well, because then we start getting the market open and we start seeing how things played out. So drop in your questions and make sure to subscribe as well. Let's see. So Gemini is still the best LLM out there, even though with the upgrade that I think Claude came out with. So keep that in mind, guys. Yeah, this is the thing that I was looking at. This is the thing that I said. Flexport, which is the company that Ryan Peterson runs, they're one of the biggest aggregators of cargo, had the 2 biggest ocean freight booking weeks in company history, right? I'm going to say that again. Flexport had the 2 biggest ocean freight booking weeks in company history in the 2 weeks since the tariffs on China were paused. 80% growth over the pre-tariff trend line. Not just China surging, Vietnam also setting records, right? What he also comes down to say is, someone asks him saying, do you think it's because people are buying a buffer against future uncertainty? His answer, mostly making up for all the cancelled bookings they had the previous few weeks, right? Now, this was a very smart question, which was, will we see $10,000 China to USA prices again, right? If bookings stay at this level, this is the answer. If bookings stay at this level for 2 to 3 more weeks, then containers will cost $10,000 containers in July. There's just not enough space on ships to move this much cargo. You'll get huge backlogs and you'll have to pay $10K plus to skip the line. And if you don't skip the line, your freight won't move. So, fascinating. How does the freight move if everyone skips the line? There aren't enough ships to move all the freight that's being shipped industry-wide right now. Will take a few months to clear the backlog if the backlog builds up like this for a few more weeks. a lot of backlog being built up will also start coming into sales data. So sales data will start improving. With inflation being lower, the Fed, which currently speaks of not cutting rates because of tariff uncertainty, my belief is in the next few meetings, they will start thinking of cutting their rates as well. Because that's something that they're pretty much worried about, is will tariff uncertainty cause prices to rise? If prices don't rise as much as the market believes it will, I don't see any reason why they shouldn't be cutting rates. I mean, if on July 9th, most of the trading partners have a deal with America, which is China has a deal, Vietnam has a deal, North America of Canada and Mexico have a deal, India has a deal, Japan has a deal. I mean, what are we all worried about then? That the Penguin Island in Lesotho is not having a deal and it's got 100% tariffs. Who gives a shit? And let me just get a few questions. Wasn't there some issue with the Windows 11 update? Something about some announcement from the FBI about some randomware? Yeah, I did see that, but I just couldn't understand who's using Windows 11 and what in the world is going on there, because that was just some weird stuff, man. I read about it the other day and I couldn't wrap my head around it, but I guess if one of you guys can help me out there, that'll be pretty cool, because I don't know, there's some cyber security investigation and I couldn't for the life of me understand what the whole thing was about. But anyways, let's get back to, let's see what else is happening. Apparently Russia bombs Ukraine massively and Putin doesn't want peace. And Zelensky says that it's because America is silent. Oh my God. That thing I don't think is ever going to end. It just seems like something that's never going to end. But yeah, I hope it does. Anyways, another company that I was looking at was a company called Box. I think we spoke about it in one of our videos, which was about this concept that Box would be using unstructured data to get it structured. And they are in partnership with OpenAI. The company is still small, founder-led, smart dudes. I'm just not sure if they'll be able to grow at the pace of other tech companies, because they are a software as a service. So SaaS companies, I'm not really sure, right? Now, that's something to keep in mind. Okay, so here's a question for you guys. Let me try seeing if I can put this up in the chat, right? Let's see if we can get, okay, maybe not. Yeah, because we still have a goddamn poll going on. But anyways, so who according to you would be the largest global ad spenders on the internet, right? Digital global ad spenders. Drop in and give me your answer on the comments. Who do you think it would be? What company spends the most in ads on the internet, right? Think about it. I mean, you can, they're like 7, 8. I'm pretty sure you guys will get the top 7, top 8 for sure. But you'll be fascinated to know what the second and the third largest would be. So give it a shot. I mean, let's see. Yeah, Google for sure. Google is the 6th largest. So that's saying something, right? But think about the others. 6th largest is Google. So I'm going to ask the question again. What is it? Who spends the most amount of money on ads on the internet? Google, like Sharik says, yes. Nah, Reddit's too small, bro. Reddit's too small. Reddit's not even close. It could be any of these companies, right? It could be Costco. It could be any of these companies that spend that kind of money. So think about it. I mean, maybe towards the end of the video or maybe in a few minutes, I'll give you the answer. But take a shot at it. Who spends the most amount of money on ads on the internet? Yeah, so Anthropic drops the next generation of Claude. Claims it can code solo for up to 7 hours. Also drops Claude Sonnet, a lighter version. As per Polymarket, as of now, Anthropic ranks 2nd best AI model behind Google. But let's be honest, guys, Google did take the cake when it comes to creating Gemini. Like, as much as people want to say it's great, right? It's not that great or Google's going to die out. Their LLM is by far, bar none, at this moment. Maybe someone else comes in with a better LLM, and currently it's a race, right? I mean, everyone keeps going ahead and coming behind, but at the moment, Google's been killing it. So Elon Musk says he's back to spending 24/7 at work, sleeping in conference rooms, server rooms, and factories. Says he has to stay super focused on XAI, and Tesla. Plus, there's a Starship launch next week. Yep. So this is what he said, right? As evidenced by the X uptime issues this week, major operational improvements need to be made. The failover redundancy should have worked, but did not. So I'm guessing as he realizes that there's a lot more issues that he has to solve within his own companies and less issues within the White House, he's going to skip the White House and start coming and working for his companies back again. And that is going to be very bullish for his companies. Remember that. I mean, at the end of the day, no one wants to lose the crown of the world's richest man, as much as people would say. Anyways, so drop in the comments and make sure to subscribe. We kind of do this every day, every weekday at least. So we're trying to do this on a Sunday evening is because of all the craziness that Trump decides that he's not even going to let us chill on a Sunday evening. He's like, you know what, I need to be able to put in a tariff pause. The tariff pause which was already there, which then became a tariff restart and now is back to a tariff pause. Like I said, Trump is going to save us from his tariffs. He's going to save America from the tariffs so that we may not suffer. That's the thing, right? Lol, Elon coming back to work in full force. He probably did Doge to get some time to relax like a side project. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And I think he also got a lot of deals maybe that worked for him. Never know, right? Something around Tesla, something around XAI, something around the solar stuff. I mean, he's going to be able to make a lot of money. He's not out there. I don't believe this concept that there's someone out there who's going to be doing everything just for the just cause of trying to save the deficit. There's something in return that he would want as well. Right? These guys are business guys at the end of the day. And maybe having a year to the door of the president, and literally not just a year, like maybe a seat at the table with the president is maybe the best thing ever that you can ask for. So why not? I mean, kudos to him for doing what he does, and he's able to do it at that scale. So great. And if he is able to fix the deficit issue, that's even better. Right? Well, if you guys have any more questions, drop it in. Make sure to go ahead and subscribe. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers and then we have new targets in mind. So hit that subscribe and let's carry on. So Syrian sanctions are out. I have no clue what America is going to be buying from Syria or any of that, but sanctions are out. Cool. That is fun. I don't really see anything new in terms of news. Now, this is something that I've been thinking about when it comes to the stock market. I do believe that we will hit all-time highs in the next 6 months. I think currently we're sitting at about 5,900, 5,800 on the S&P. I think we can get to 6,500 this year, which is still about a 15% return from year. So I think you can have a very good year. A lot of people do not believe that we can go that way, which is why I, to some extent, also get a little more bullish because most people are like, this cannot happen. It is not supposed to happen. The economy is weak. The economy is going to go through a recession. The sky is going to fall out and a lot of other stuff is going to happen. But irrespective of that, just keep in mind that bull markets necessarily do not require only good news. Bull markets require companies to continue making money, which they are, and 2, bad news to subside, which is happening. So my belief is as time happens, it's just going to eventually pick up higher and higher. Sharik says you're going to head out for dinner. Chatting, see you on the next live. Enjoy your weekend. Take care, brother. Have a good dinner. Enjoy yourself. So that's something to keep in mind. US 100 currently up 245 points, 1.17%. So keep that in mind, right? I mean, you don't want to be caught off guard. This is my belief. We will see the S&P 500 hit 6,500 at least. That's my thought process. Maybe this year, maybe in a few more, I would say in less than 12 months, right? Before June this next year, we should be higher to like a 15% rally from current prices, 15 to 20% rally from current prices. It's something that I wouldn't be surprised about. It's something that I would pretty much be like, okay, why are we not there yet? That's something to keep in mind. Yeah, so this is the thing that happened. X is down. We're having trouble connecting right now. Oh, great. That's what he's going to fix. So NVIDIA is going to start mass production of new China Blackwell chips as early as June, right? June's like a few days away. So keep that in mind. And if he's saying that, he also has his earnings coming up in a few days. So maybe the earnings are bullish. Who knows? NVIDIA to launch new AI chipset for China with Blackwell architecture priced at $6,500 to $8,000. That's a lot less than what it was for America. NVIDIA's new China Blackwell chip. Now this is fascinating, right? It's going to have conventional memory and not need TSMC advanced packaging. So I don't know how that's going to work with TSMC, considering that they're going to be spending $500 billion or $1 trillion on the new plant in Arizona. So let me see what else is happening in the world over the weekend. We don't want to keep this too long. We're already up 46 minutes. So for everyone that's here and not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. And also make sure that you're answering the poll, because I just want to see what everyone believes is going to be the market reaction for the week, at least for the whole week. I mean, there is no crazy news that's going to come out. I mean, for a lot of us, we didn't even watch, or it slipped by us, the entire Fed speak when Jerome Powell was speaking at Princeton. Nothing great was said, so forget about it. During the week, I think over the end of the week, we should get core PCE, so we should get inflation. Core PCE is what the Federal Reserve looks at for its inflation, but all the numbers put together for the month, it should be flat or lower, so that's sorted out as well. Coming into June first week, we should start seeing the Federal Reserve meeting. One of the things that I want to look at is the Fed meeting minutes that come out on Wednesday post-market hours or during market hours. So that I think comes out at about 2 PM Eastern. So that should be fun, because whenever that does come out, it's going to be some form of a base to get to know whether the Fed is interested in cutting or they just don't want to cut. All right. Yeah, so this is something that I was looking at. The S&P 4,800 put seems to be getting bought up again, which means people are expecting the prices to start heading lower. The last time I saw flows going into puts for the S&P 500, which was like 20% lower, we were near all-time highs for about 2 months before the February pullback. So keep in mind, guys, I mean, may not be as rosy as people think it is. You might have some movements up and down, but it is something to keep in mind. Okay, so we've got about 8 votes. Let's see if we get a 10. That'll be fun. At that moment, I'll just go ahead and end the poll, because I want to see what the results are going to be. So could we figure out, as of now, everyone's bullish, could be flat and boring. I am in the camp of flat and slightly bullish. It's not part of the poll, but that's what I believe may or may not happen, which is, I don't think we'll be volatile and range bound, because there's no news that much that's going to happen. But I do think that we might be up 2.5%, 3% for the week, or 2% for the week on the S&P. So it could be a good week. I mean, keep that in mind. You don't necessarily need bad days all the time. We had one on Friday. We should have a great one on Monday. Monday looks like it's shaping up to be a 235 point increase, 1.12% on the NASDAQ. So looking good at the moment, nothing to complain about. Let's also go in and try seeing some of the other news. So nothing's been happening there massively. Okay, guys, make sure to subscribe, because we should be having this thing again tomorrow. Same time. We pretty much go live every day at 7:30 PM Eastern Standard Time. So subscribe and hit the bell so then you guys can join in for the next live as well. I'm going to cut it short here because I have some stuff to finish. Enjoy your weekend and happy Memorial Day to everyone out there. Take care, guys. See ya. Oh yeah, make sure to subscribe. I need to get to that 100 number. This is going to give me better sleep at night. So do that, guys. Goodbye.